Hello, today we are going to solve October 2023 paper question number 1 part A. Okay, prepare the statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income including an appropriation account for the year ended 30th September 2023. This is for Artem and Bipul who were in partnership and they were sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2. Artem is paid a salary of 6,000 per annum, but Bipul receives no salary. Interest will be received on capital and drawings. The following were the balances available. So there are some additional information. So let's adjust the additional information first. The first one is the selling expenses of 1,700 was prepaid. So if it is prepaid, we have to remove it from the expense. So any prepaid expense you have to remove. Okay. So we will remove 1,700 and this 1,700 is going to prepaid expenses will become a current asset. Then 1 month's rent of 1,500 was still owing. That means owed expense, it has to be still added and presented. So the total expense, so let's write here, okay, as we are doing. So selling expenses are going to be 6,800, okay, minus 1,700 adjustment. So that means that the selling expenses are going to be equal to 5,100. Okay. Then second one is 1 month's rent of 1,500 was owing. So you will add 1 month expense plus 1,500. So 16,500 plus. So the rent actually that needs to be paid is 16,500. Okay, plus 1,500. So that needs to be paid. Okay. So that needs to be paid. So the total rent that is a expense for this year is going to be equal to 18,000. Then we have commission allowed of 500 had been posted in error to the debit of the commission received. Commission received is an income account. Okay. So it should have been posted on the credit side, but it has been posted on the debit side. Okay. So to remove, I will enter on the commission received account. Okay, on the credit side. Okay, commission received. The error has to be, so when you are entering on the credit side, okay, I will have to add the commission received because it had been deducted. It actually means commission received. Okay, it was for commission allowed, but commission received had been deducted by 500. That is what it means. It was entered on the opposite side, on the debit side of commission received. Okay, whereas commission received, you should remember, it is an income account. Okay, so commission received was an income account, and anything you want to add income, you are supposed to enter on the credit side, right? So on the credit side. So but here that was whatever was the 500, it had been subtracted from the commission received, which means I have to correct this by adding 500 more. Okay, the error was subtracted, so the error is it was subtracted. Okay, the error was it was subtracted, so add to correct it. So 1,800 plus 500, so commission received is going to be equal to, so it's a type of other income, so I have to include other income also. So okay, here other income, so the commission received was 8,000. Okay, 8,100 plus 500, so that value is going to be equal to 8,600. Okay, then Then next one was the 5% bank loan had been increased on 1st April 2023 by 20,000. Now let's calculate this bank loan adjustment. Okay, so bank loan adjustment we are going to do. So it says that, okay, it says that so from April, okay, from April to September, April, May, June, July, August, September. So for 6 months, okay, it had become 50,000. Earlier it must have been 30,000, right? So 5% of bank loan. Okay, what was the earlier one? 50,000 minus 20,000. Okay, because it had increased by 20,000 only from April. So the earlier it must have been 30,000. So that's for the entire year, that is equal to 1,500. Now the increase alone, okay, I will calculate for that for the 6 months. For 6 months alone, it became totally, okay, 6 by 12. For the entire year, I'll calculate for 30,000 loan, and for only 6 months the increase was 20,000. For that period I will calculate the interest, that is going to be equal to 500. So the total interest is going to be equal to, so total bank loan interest, it's going to be equal to 2,000. Okay, that's the bank loan interest. So now let's adjust and write these values. This was selling expenses and rent paid. Okay, now let's adjust the bank loan interest, that is equal to the total for the entire year, it must be 2,000. Okay, for the entire year, and how much they have paid, okay, was 1,400. So the extra, okay, from that is 6,000 becomes 600 becomes, okay, the extra 600 has to be paid, that becomes a current liability, so CL. So this will represent as current liability. Now next is the equipment costing 6,000 was traded in part exchange at its carrying value of 2,500 on 30th December 2022 for replacement equipment costing 7,500. The balance was settled by check. No entries had been made in the books. Reducing balance method, right? So it's following reducing balance method. So now let's look at the cost that is there in the business. So earlier the total equipment cost was 25,000. Okay, 25,000, and then we can see that the equipment costing 1,000 was disposed of. So adjust for that. And then there was a replacement of equipment costing 7,500 which came into the business. Okay, and then, okay, then the accumulated depreciation adjustment. So the total accumulated depreciation for the equipment was 10,000 minus, I will have to find the depreciation of the sold asset. So how will I find? I will have to find cost minus its carrying value. So cost was 6,000 minus its carrying value of 2,500. So times the rate. The rate of depreciation was at the rate of 15% per annum. So that is equal to, so 25,000 minus 6,000 plus 7,500. So the value is going to be equal to 25 minus 6 plus 7.5. So that is equal to 26,500. Okay, 26,500 minus of this value 10,000. Okay, 10,000 minus of 6,000 minus 2,500. So that is equal to 6,500. So this value is 6,500 times 15%. So that is equal to 3,000. So 3,000 was the depreciation charge. Okay, this is the depreciation charge for the disposed for the equipment. It is for the equipment. So let's put that cost here. So for the equipment, it is going to be equal to 3,000 depreciation charge. Next we have, and this was a carrying value of the asset that was determined as a market value, plus they had to pay some check, okay, to get a value of item worth 7,500. So how much did they pay? The check business paid, okay, the business paid was equal to 7,500 minus 2,500. So that is equal to 5,000 they paid. Now let's adjust this balance for the bank. So let's subtract 14,000 minus 5,000. So this cash and bank is going to appear in the financial statement. So we don't have to worry. Next one is, here there is no profit and loss because it was replaced by a new item. Okay, it was replaced by new item which was costing 7,500. Now next one is motor vehicles depreciation we have to calculate. It follows the straight line method of depreciation. So let's calculate for the motor vehicle. So depreciation this year, motor vehicle, so depreciation this year for the motor vehicle is going to be at the rate of 20% per annum using straight line method. So let's calculate that. That is going to be equal to 20,000 of the cost 40,000. So we can write here only. So it is going to be 20% of 40,000, so which is equal to 8,000. So straight line method, so it is 8,000. And then you have fixtures and fittings. They are also done at the, they are also depreciated using straight line method at the rate of 10% per annum. So fixtures and fittings at the rate of 10%. The total cost is 9,000, so it will become 900. Okay, so it is going to become 900. Next we have a further of 1,500 pounds was written off as irrecoverable debt. So let's adjust for this. Okay, so irrecoverable debt, so we are seeing that trade receivables was at 4,650, right? So what irrecoverable debt, there is an allowance for irrecoverable debt and there is an irrecoverable debt also. So let's adjust all of this. So there is an irrecoverable debt here and allowance for irrecoverable debt here, and the trade receivables are here. So we can see that if 1,500 more had increased, so it will become 900 plus 1,500. Okay, so it's 900 plus 1,500. So that value is going to be equal to 2,400.